Start it. I feel that our generation was early fortunate in having been able to participate in the struggle for the freedom of our country. We did our utmost to win freedom and at long last succeeded. But this freedom would remain meaningless if the people of this country are not able to drive the maximum advantage and good out of it. The problems that face us today are many and multitudinous in character. The responsibility of tackling all these complicated problems has fallen on the shoulders of free India. It is now up to you to solve these problems in a way which may enable our people to hold their heads high. I may therefore say that our present task is much more difficult than that of the past. Our country is very backward from the point of view of education, and consequently we suffer from a serious handicap in all that we undertake. In spite of the labors of the British government and our own during the past few years, I am afraid there are hardly 15% of the people who are literate in this country. Another problem to which I would like to draw your attention is the existence of many types of disease and epidemics in this country. These questions and others have to be tackled and solved. You might be reading in the newspapers with some pride about the effort made by our country to preserve international peace. I hope and trust that our efforts will succeed ultimately. One may well wonder as to why the nations of the world have regard and respect for our country in spite of the fact that ours is a poor and economically backward land. In my opinion, it is all due to the fact that we have been trying to follow the path that was laid down for us by the father of the nation, who was almost divinity incarnate and who had sacrificed himself for our good. If we remain firm and fast to this path and continue to follow in his footsteps, we shall always receive regard and respect. It is my earnest wish that this institution should produce men of high purpose and noble character who may serve the country in the hour of her difficulties and trials. I hope that this college, which has been doing such fine service for so many years and which has produced many great men, would continue to serve our people with increasing success. Complete cooperation between the students and the teachers is essential for achieving good results. I would now like to refer to the constant criticism of the government. It may well be that some of the criticism may have some substance. That there are complaints, no one can deny. However, if the nature of these complaints were to be examined, you will notice that in the ultimate analysis, they arise because our people do not have the nobility of character which our countrymen used to have in former times. During the convocation address of the Women's University, the President of India said, "I can never resist a call from an educational institution because I have been associated with such institutions throughout and have always taken a keen interest in education. I was therefore happy to accept your invitation. It is pleasure to be in your midst and to confer degrees on many of the students assembled here. You are fortunate indeed to receive education in this institution. For this institution occupies an important place in this state, and it has made a remarkable contribution to the advancement of our women. This institution was founded many years ago by a true social reformer who was inspired by lofty and sacred ideals of emancipation of women and national advancement, and who had genuine reverence for womanhood. We have in our country two types of educational institutions, those established by our English rurals for the achievement of their own ends, and for those founded independently by patriots and nationalists with a view to reviving our civilization and rebuilding our cultural traditions. This institute was founded many years ago in pursuance of these sacred ideals, and those of you who are entering life after having completed your education in such an institution are really fortunate. You have obtained this higher degree, of course, but to have done so from this institution should also be a treasure of your life, which must add to your laurels. Those of you who have received their degrees are now stepping out of the limited sphere of the institution into the vast arena of life, an arena of activity and struggle. You have on your shoulders heavy responsibilities, but I am confident that your experience and education will enable you to bear them with grace. So far, you were students, now you will lead a practical life, and you have to march ahead in the face of multifarious problems. I hope the education you have received here will give you strength and energy to face them as responsible citizens of an independent country. But for that in life, I believe you all know that women occupied a position of great importance and dignity in ancient India, that they played a invaluable role in domestic and social life and made a splendid contribution to an all-round development of society by virtue of their ingenuity, intellect, and spirit of sacrifice. I need hardly remind you how they distinguished themselves in various arts and sciences, mathematics, ethics, theology, economics, medicine, domestic science, etc. The character of our women in the past was exalted and traditions glorious, and they can still be cited as examples for the women today. I am saying all this to bring home to you that the woman is an incarnation of divinity, a sustainer, a creative energy which conduces to the growth and welfare of human society. By virtue of this creative power, you can work in and outside the home for an all-round progress of society. Thus, your responsibility is commensurate with your power. ये 1027 वर्ड डिक्टेट किए गए हैं, सेट नंबर 24 में मिलेंगे, स्पीड 100 की और 105 तक की फ्लक्चुएशन है इसके अंदर, और ये मैंने डिक्टेट